So I've been thinking about the true crime things that are out there, and a couple of weeks ago I did a video and I talked about how I was seeing a lot of stuff to do with, what's her name there? Gypsy Rose. But I see these things happen all the time. Like Gypsy Rose is the one that's popping up right now. I like the Chris Watts things pop up, the Summer thing pops up, like all these different ones pop up for me, and it'll be like a pull. There'll be a pull to learn more about what the hell's happening with this situation. What are all the because every police investigation seems to be like hit or miss. Like, and a lot of mistakes are made, and a lot of deals and things. Okay, so my point is, because I was thinking, I'm like, why am I being drawn to look at fucking, like, I have no interest in Gypsy Rose. She's a hot mess. Like, she's not on my frequency. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I don't identify or resonate with those behaviors. It's kind of surprising that people do, but not at the same time. There's been a lot of revelations this last week, but people, I don't know. I feel like the reason why, for myself and maybe for people in my community, the reason why certain cases like that may stick out to us, because I saw some of you be like, yeah, I keep having her on my radar too. Like, it's weird that she's everywhere. I feel like it's because of the injustice. There's certain cases that will stick out to us because of injustice. We're like, oh, that's fucked up. Like, that's definitely not right. Because we can see the truth. We can see manipulators and liars very easily. At least in my case. I'm like, how'd you let this slide? How do you not see what's in black and white? And then I will see comments from people be like, ooh, like they watched the dramatic movie based off her life, not truth, not all truth, but they're like, oh, but she's just like she was so innocent. No, she's not. Not at all. Not at all. She was a part of the problem, and she's a gypsy. That's what they do. Gypsy. Thief. She's upholding the name of a gypsy. In not the best way. I'm sure there are good gypsies that use magic for good, but she's not. She's also using magic. But I feel like it's the injustice. Like certain cases stick out to us. However, I've also noticed an increase of unintelligent people, and that's a big problem, because the unintelligent people are totally, like, there's a problem on the side of, like, they don't see the problem with her, and they're like, they just follow along and believe the bullshit narrative of, like, oh, but she was so abused, and, like, just totally dismiss the fact that she did a lot of freaking weird shit, and it continues to do a lot of weird shit. Like, it would be one thing if she came out and was just, like, silent and hid away and lived a normal life, but no, she did not do that whatsoever, and chose to be on TV showing those behaviors. So there's a lot of injustice there. There's a lot of unfairness that's going on there, but there's also a lot of unintelligence happening. Like, I watched a video last night from a dude, and his level of intelligence was different from the normal people. Like, so there's people out there who are, like, fully supportive of her, think that she could do no wrong and support her. They don't get all the facts. They've demonized Nick. They don't even realize, like, Nick didn't even arrive until after her death thing. Like, she was most likely dead before he even got there. If you look at the body, you can see there's ones that bled and ones that didn't bleed. He had no blood on his clothes. There's a lot of things. A lot of things that I feel like happened, that they know happened, and let get away because of politics, because the guy didn't, because she had everybody fooled. She had already lived her best life going to all of these things. Like, you can hear in her interrogation how spoiled she is. Oh yes, my mom got in her, meanwhile, my mom, she still talks like, my mom. You killed your mom. Okay. But the guy that was talking about her last night, he's another problem because he's bashing her, but he's bashing her incorrectly. Like he looks at her teeth when they were all metal.
Look at her.
Okay, so this is part 2 because I went obviously over my 10 minutes.
I want to see open your mouth. I gotta see the, you know, she did have like what we would call the by proxy.
So
I want to see I don't know anything about by proxy. I just feel like when she opens her mouth, there's a hole at the back of her neck.
And he's like, yeah, well, she had that by proxy thing. I'm like, that has nothing to do. But he's a problem in the fact that he's going to lead dumber people to dumber conclusions, and this is why she'll get away with being like, oh, poor her. Munchausen by proxy is what they're trying to say that her mother had, which I don't believe her mother had, because the girl literally does have an issue, and she literally had things taken care of from that issue. If you look up the issue that she has, all of the side effects of that issue, which is a chromosome deficiency, she exhibits. She has all of the traits of. Her mother had more surgeries than her. Her mother was sick. Her mother had no things in her body. Like, she tortured her mother, killed her mother, because she wanted to go out and do her hypersexualized lifestyle. I get it that her mother was not a mother of the year, and that the whole fact that they were scheming and conniving is not good. But it's still not okay to just take this little boy over here and destroy his life because you want to kill your mom. And I do believe she did have a lot more to play with it. But anyways, the problem is there's a lot of unintelligent people believing narratives that are completely false about it, injustice. And then there's people out there who are barely paying attention to it and spreading false narratives. So even like if his videos get in front of people who may have been on the I don't know side, they may go onto her side just out of defense of her because of the stupid shit that he's talking. I did laugh quite a lot in his video, but I think I was laughing at the fact of how unintelligent he was, because he was just like making stuff up, just totally making stuff up. He's like, yes, so Gypsy Rose is back in the news. She had that by proxy thing, so she's a metal mouth. Like, just dumb stuff that made no sense, and then bashing the guy that she was originally with. But my thing is, I feel like we do get called to these things because of the injustice, and I do feel like it's important for people to know. It's just so many people to wake up. I feel like at this point we should just, like, if they're not awake yet, if they want to be like, oh, Gypsy Rose, or let's think we're making it, we need to all come together and stop this stupid shit that's happening. Like, none of it matters. The stuff that's being focused on is such distraction tactics. Meanwhile, there's so many weird ass things happening, and like, again, I don't care about politics, but looking at the people who are like, they don't care that like the whole Biden thing just happened the way that it happened. Like, I'm gonna step down and here's your person. Nobody voted for her, but they're like, you could tell that they're just like, oh well, vote for her anyway. What? Like, you didn't vote for her in the first place. That's messed up. That's not how it's supposed. Like, if you guys are gonna play big rules, again, injustice. That's not right. I don't care either way, because I feel like either way, it's just a big game. But to see the level of like, oh well, just vote on her anyway because that's our side. Has she proven anything to you? I have not heard many very good things about her. I've not heard many good things about the other side either. But it feels wrong to just be like, okay, this is the one that you have now instead of this one. But it feels even worse to see people be like, okay, no problem. We don't need to go by the rules. Vote for her anyway. She has no, like, she didn't do any of the things she's supposed to do. He didn't do any things he was supposed to do. But, okay. Those things are just weird to me. And it's just weird to me to see how separated and divided. Like, if we could all just stop focusing on that shit and be like, hey, you know what? Like, if we all come together, that very small percentage of those idiots that we have to choose from, won't be in charge anymore, because we can just say no. There's so many of us more that we can... They're not playing by the rules. They're not listening to the directions. They're making up what they want to make up as they go. Why can't we make up what we want to make up as we go? Especially, same thing with the court stuff. Gypsy Rose just got lucky because that guy was trying to become like the mayor that year. And so he was like, wow, it's not going to look good because she lied. She was 24 when she killed her mother. She was not a little tiny teenager. She lied and said she was. She knew she could walk. She knew she was not a child. She knew she could eat. She knew she could sleep around with people. She knew she could manipulate this boy to become her mother. She was talking to other men. She was into BDSM. She was crazy. Okay, she's crazy. If you had your mother give you all these bad thingies, you went through all these operations that were so traumatic, are you gonna come out and get a fucking nose job? No. That is not PTSD. She does not have PTSD. She would not be on, let me go live on TikTok, and, like, she has no remorse, no, something is wrong. Like, that is wrong. Thank you for the galaxy. That is very wrong, and the people sitting in the fucking galaxy are very wrong. And I think the reason why we, Lightworkers, may get called to certain true crime things or certain, like, stuff that's happening out there is because of the injustice within it, and just, like, it's depressing, it's sad to see how stupid some people are on both sides. Like, oh, I'm just gonna follow her because of what the narrative said, rather than looking any deeper into the actual truth. And I think if people started to watch true crime, they would start to realize, like, wow, justice is not served highly often. Like, oh yeah, this guy who did this horrible thing and this horrible thing and this he got 5 years. But the lady that drove him there, she's in for the rest of her life. You know? And, oh, she unknowingly drove him there. But because she was the driver and he was just the passenger. Seriously, like, that weird type of shit happens. And it is a problem. Because a lot of it is, like, who you know or how much money you have or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like there's a reason why sometimes our whole collective is focused on certain people or certain stories, because we can feel that injustice has been. And in that Chris Watts thing, I got called to that this week. Supposedly, maybe not true, he was given, like, the devil's breath. So it's supposed to be like the scariest DRUG in the world. Makes people do things that they normally wouldn't do. It's almost like a hypnotic state, and people are very easily susceptible to do things that, you know, not good. Devil's breath, man. Yeah, people think that his girlfriend gave it to him, and that's why he went a little cray-cray and took his family and his children away from this world. Drink, which literally has, like, all the side effects of what he did by killing his whole family and suffocating them all, his 2 little girls, his pregnant wife, and then took his 2 little girls and put them in an 8-inch hole into a big gallon of oil. And now that he's in jail, he's reading the Bible, and he's like, I'm a child of God. And the lady that he was with, cheating on his wife with, is a Jezebel, and it's her fault, and all that. But supposedly that girl gave him a drink that's called that, and it, like, literally has the side effects of, which is magic. Oh, and she had a spiritual advisor that she was contacting, the girlfriend, that the justice didn't serve, because she was definitely involved further than what the cops have come up with, and that's probably because of her dad. Injustice. But have you noticed that? Do you notice that you get called to weird ass shit? That you just are like, why do I keep caring about this situation? Why do I keep feeling like thinking about this? It may be because of the injustice. It happened to me with the Summer Wells case. It happened to me with, like, the Gypsy Rose shit. Like, there's a lot of things that happen on a regular basis, but there's only certain one. And the Chris Watts thing happened a while ago, but, like, this week, I learned about the devil's drink and the girlfriend that got away with killing his family with him, who stalked him before she ever even talked to him, but tried to tell the cops that she didn't even know that he had a pregnant wife, which she definitely did because she was checking her Facebook all the time. And that's another thing that's dumb within the collective, I find, is like, if you're going to kill people, you should be smarter about it. Like, don't bring your phone. Don't be doing dumb shit from your phone and then be like, oh yeah, here you go guys, there's my phone. Because they, first of all, don't do it anyways, because they don't need your phone to see everything that you do. And you don't need a phone anyways, because everybody has a fucking camera on their house. Or cameras. There's satellites. There's so, like, you're better to just don't do dumb things. But if you do dumb things, it's hit or miss if there'll be justice. So yeah, have you noticed that? Do you agree that we need to stop letting all this injustice play out and be like, you guys are running shit wrong. We need to take back power and control and run it right. So yeah, internet namaste.